We'll go ahead, sorry, excuse me, ladies. We'll come back into session out of our recess at 10:36. And our next item will be the discussion on the county property purchase at this time. And Dave, if you...
I've been meeting with Lakeview Ready Mix. They are interested in purchasing some land at the industrial park, and under ORS 275318, I recommend we sell industrial park land to Lakeview Ready Mix once the commissioners agree on a price and on that.
And the ORS 275 gives us the option to sell it direct without going through open bids.
Correct. Correct.
Also, it being in the industrial zone, you told me.
Yes, because the industrial park is under industrial park ORSs, and it falls under that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let Suzanne kind of give her proposal of what she wants, and
Great.
you guys can weigh it out.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay, I have to follow suit with the infamous Donnie Robinson and Stan.
That's fine.
He's a good mentor.
Yes.
Well, I typed up a letter to give to you with our proposal and reasons for wanting to purchase additional land in the industrial park. And I can just read from the letter that basically covers pretty much all of it. But it goes to say that we, as owners, Sam and I, wish to purchase the land owned by the county, which is adjacent and north of our business in the south end of the industrial park. It's 3.86 acres of undeveloped land, and I have the tax ID number on here to identify. And our business continues to expand. We're in the 24th year of our operation since we purchased it back in 1994. And we are in need of additional land. We now have an asphalt plant that is set up on our property, and we find we're quickly running out of room. Stockpile room is limited for its operation and the growth of our business. The asphalt plant is a positive addition to our community, giving additional options for local construction needs, currently employing many individuals, and hiring other local businesses and supporting our service industry as well. We look to the permanent placement of the plant in the future to provide for all of our local needs. That's a goal. It's not a done deal, but that's what things look like they're heading towards. So as owners of a construction firm, we feel like we're in a position to supply, fill, and perform the necessary site improvements on the land. No site improvements currently exist on this property. The land must be brought up to neighboring standards for flood control. We will make the land ready for future expansion, providing buildable land in the county industrial park, making it shovel-ready for new development and our business use. Purchase of this land will help expand and develop our existing business while capitalizing on economic development for our county. So we are willing to make a cash offer slightly above the current assessed value of the land of $22,700. We look to you to help us expand by allowing us to purchase the property, add improvements and tax revenue to the county, and to aid in the future growth of our business and the community. And we thank you for your consideration in this matter. So I can
And
just
that's
let you
the
have
same
this
letter
copy.
we
And
received before. We'll get
it's
this to
similar.
these.
It's revised just a bit, but
Okay.
yeah.
We'll make sure we put that in the record. So.
Okay. And if you approve, we're ready to proceed anytime. Okay.
No, you said slightly above assessed value.
Yes.
Give us your rationale for that figure.
Well, I spoke with Dave Knowles at the assessor's office, and we went through what the assessed value was and what the appraised value was, and the similar values throughout industrial park land. And he helped me come up with saying that seemed like a fair price, in that it is less than the appraised value, but that the land is a lesser type of land because of the need for fill. And
So for the record, Suzanne, just for phrasing,
Yes.
you said less than the appraised, but isn't it less than the real market?
yes, I'm so sorry.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you for correcting that,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it was assessed and then the real
Yes,
market.
less than the real market value. He said the real market value is inflated in this case because of the fact that it has no improvements. You know, the sewer and water line goes by the property, doesn't go into the property, which we would want to eventually make that happen as well. And there's quite a bit of fill that needs to be brought in and added to make it usable at this point.
I'm gonna say quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
What would be a value?
Oh, boy, I could figure that out and let you know, but it's
Just
gonna be,
around part
I'm gonna say it could be up to $20,000.
How much?
20,000,
to fill.
yes. And that's just off the hip, kind of.
And that's because
estimate.
it's in a floodplain, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes, yes, so that by the time you pay for material, truck it in, spread it out, use your equipment to level, all of that, it would come up to be quite an expensive endeavor.
To make it usable.
Right.
So that'd make the real market value about 52,000.
Well, after it was done,
Yeah.
I would hope.
Yeah.
I know that
What you
Dave,
did feel, not the county.
No.
I know Dave was working on kind of repairing some of the values of the industrial types of lands. We don't get a lot of sales of commercial properties, so it's a difficult number to come up with, but.
So unfortunately today, Commissioner Winters isn't here. What Dave just said in his recommendation, I'll speak for me, I agree with that. We would like to sell that land to you. I think where we're at right now, Commissioner Winters had gotten with Ginger, who's here present today, and asked her to do a little bit of research on values and so forth, and she's done actually quite a bit of research.
Good job,
It's pretty
Ginger.
difficult to come up with, comparables
It is.
completely. We want to be fair. We want to be mindful of the private industry side of the realty business.
Sure.
As we do this. We also want to be mindful, we'd love to get it into private ownership, and it's a perfect match for your company. And as we discussed the other day, we don't need to go into those details, but a contract that we draw up, from my point of view, it'd be a vote of the board. But I want to ensure that we do have some little clause in there that says any use of this land would be in compliance. And I'm doing that because of the city, if it were to be annexed into the city, that any use now and in the future would be compliant with our rules, regulations, ordinances, whatever. So that's where I'm at.
Okay.
There's a lot of things that we grandfathered in.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Ginger?
Yes.
Commissioner Shawn said that Commissioner Winters can you give us some?
Yes, I did quite a bit of research, which was really good because I learned a whole lot about the history of the sales and the ownership of a lot of different industrial pieces and commercial pieces around that I probably wouldn't have otherwise had the opportunity to do. There was a lot of apples and oranges looking at things. Properties that have buildings, properties that are larger. I mean, it was, it's kind of all over the map, as you can imagine, both in the south and the north end.
We should compare notes.
I know, it was really
I kind of did
interesting.
our own research for
Yeah,
other reasons,
yeah.
and that's when
while-
I went to Dave. I'm like,
Right, I know,
Same.
I know. And I did work with Dave on some of this because he has access to information that I wouldn't necessarily have through, the computer, the records and things like that. So my task was really to do some research to provide the commissioners so that they could have that information in their decision-making process. So I didn't engage in talking about a recommendation for a price or anything like that. But what was really interesting to me is what you said about, I'm picking up some good language from our wonderful assessor too. The cost to cure that property, to bring it more in compliance of what we have stated in the market value is exactly about what you were talking about, to bring the fill in and to get it up to speed with maybe sewer and water and that sort of thing. And there hasn't been a lot of activity with vacant land in the South Park. There have been 2 sales that I know of recently within the last 2 or 3 years with properties that have buildings on them. But that it's, a comparison is difficult, I think, with that. And so the information that I provided to the commissioners was really about what exists all over so that we all could see. I think it was probably helpful for everybody besides myself in terms of the history kind of part of it. but also really looking at what it probably takes. I think you really made a good statement about what it takes to bring it to that level. And that was one of the things that was considered. I don't want to necessarily speak for Dave, he's not here, but those are considerations that we discussed when we were doing the research. So does that help?
Ginger, it does help, and I think that what would be appropriate, because we are going to take official action today, Suzanne, but I think what would be really handy in this letter that you wrote, and we're not trying to tie you to something, but if you went back and actually, got
Some numbers.
a little
Sure.
sharper pencil,
Yeah, yeah.
and just showed that in there, and
Oh, yeah.
what your intention, you're not held to that, but
Mhm.
it then, for our records, would show, you
Sure.
intend to make somewhere in the neighborhood of a $20,000 improvement to bring the land up to an acceptable standard. I think
That's
that's
a
the key
easy
to
enough
have in there.
task.
Yeah.
to
And
handle.
for the public, would you state why we're not making a decision today?
Minus Commissioner Winters and his evaluation of those, he had some ideas. I think even if he was here, we would need, and I don't think this is the appropriate, I think this is the appropriate setting to make a decision, but I think it's inappropriate. You came to us with an offer,
Mhm.
and I think we need to come back to you with a potential counteroffer
Okay.
and negotiate that outside of this venue, and then come into this venue and discuss that and agree to it and
Okay.
move forward.
You okay with that?
Yeah, I am. I don't know what kind of a time frame you're indicating, but
Well, I will say that I believe we can get there, and Dave's been working, Dave oversees our property, but he's already told us where he's at and what he's recommending, to us, which is his role. But I think between Dave and Ginger and Commissioner Winters chatting a little bit more about what he has looked at, and in turn sharing that back with the board, with Ginger or with Dave. And I'm thinking the 15th, 16th are our next meeting dates of this month. And I'm thinking we should be able to get there.
okay, sounds good.
Well, I would say we will get there. What was your recommendation? Dave?
That we sell it.
What price?
That's you guys.
If it helps, I can tell you that we purchased county property back probably about 98, and we purchased a similar size lot. I believe we paid $3,600 for it, so just a little over $1,000 an acre. So that was prior to the sewer and water extension. So with that there, it goes without saying that the land is more valuable now that it has sewer and water. But-
Well, and then back, I think Suzanne and Ginger, since the information's fresh on your mind, that across the street of bigger acreage, the Hall Safe property, I think that was 10 years ago or whatever, significantly more on a per acre.
Right, and
That's where we need to get.
that was kind of the peak of the market too, and everything kind of slid from there, and we haven't had a lot of activity with vacant land anyway, in the south part. But-
Although that did resell, so there would
It
maybe
did.
be a new
Mhm.
base
Yeah.
for that.
So,
Yeah. Alrighty,
That's
thank you
perfect.
very much.
thank you, Suzanne.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Dave.
You can't make a decision early without Commissioner Winters. But I thought Commissioner Winters has already conversed with Ginger on everything. We apparently haven't come to a conclusion yet. Okay.
Yep.
Don't know.
Well, was there something that he talked to you about, Ginger?
We discussed the research that I did for you folks, and at the time that I talked with him, today is Wednesday, it would have been Monday that I spoke with him, and at that time, he indicated that you all would be discussing it today, because he wasn't able to, you all weren't able to have the regular work session yesterday, so
Right.
that was the last time I spoke with him. I wasn't aware that he would not be present today, but he did not at that point, he was sort of mulling over, his thoughts about it,
Mhm.
but he didn't state a firm,
And that's kind of where he's
Conclusion.
come and talked to me on Monday as well, as the same thing he kind of talked to
Right.
Ginger about.
That was kind of my understanding, that and Tuesday, we knew, you know, we had this set up for Suzanne to be in on Tuesday, but we knew he wasn't gonna be here Tuesday, we didn't know he wasn't gonna be here today,
Right.
we thought he was gonna be here today, so apologize for that.
Okay,
Okay,
do I need to sign in?
sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
Sure, if you want to.
sign out.
And,
Okay, I don't show anything else on the agenda for
do
today.
we have any legal stuff that Jim Bailey?
Nothing that I'm aware of. Okay, we will adjourn our regular board meeting of August 2nd at 10 minutes to 10, or 10 minutes to 11.